We've all been told that discipline is a matter of iron will, a test of character that only the strongest pass. You wake up with big plans, only to find yourself scrolling through your phone an hour later, feeling like a failure. But here is the truth. Your lack of discipline isn't a character flaw, it's a design flaw in your environment. We often mistake motivation for a permanent state, but it's actually a fleeting emotion that fails us when we need it most. If you've been struggling to stay on track, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're fighting a biological battle with the wrong weapons. Meet the version of yourself that wants to change, standing in a room filled with distractions. Every time you try to focus, a notification pings, or a snack calls your name from the kitchen. This is the setting of your daily struggle, a place where your brain is constantly being hijacked by instant gratification. You think you need more willpower, but what you actually need is a better map of the terrain. Most people fail because they try to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. We need to look deeper into why your brain chooses the easy path every single time. The conflict begins in your brain's reward system, specifically with a neurotransmitter called dopamine. We are wired to seek out high dopamine activities that require the least amount of effort, like social media or junk food. When you try to do something hard, like studying or working out, your brain sees it as a threat to its comfort. It starts a civil war between your prefrontal cortex, which wants the long-term goal, and your limbic system, which wants the cookie now. This internal friction is why you feel that heavy resistance every time you try to start something productive. You aren't lazy. You are biologically optimized for survival, not for modern productivity.
This is the friction trap, making the wrong things too easy and the right things too hard. If your phone is right next to your pillow, checking it is the path of least resistance. If your gym bag is hidden in the back of the closet, going for a run becomes a Herculean task. We spend our limited energy fighting these small obstacles instead of using it for the actual work. Discipline is often just the art of managing your environment so that you don't have to use willpower at all. By ignoring the architecture of your surroundings, you are setting yourself up for a cycle of guilt and burnout. The climax of this struggle happens when you realize that your identity is tied to your failures. You start saying, "I am not a disciplined person," or "I am a procrastinator." This self-talk becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that reinforces your brain's resistance to change. Every time you give in to a distraction, you aren't just losing time. You are casting a vote for a version of yourself that you don't even like. The tension peaks when the gap between who you are and who you want to be feels impossible to bridge. But this is exactly where the breakthrough happens, when you stop fighting your biology and start working with it. To win the war, you must stop focusing on the goal and start focusing on the identity. Instead of saying, "I want to write a book," say, "I am a writer." A writer writes every day, even if it's just one sentence. This shift changes the narrative from something you have to do to something you are. When your actions align with your identity, the friction begins to melt away. You don't need willpower to brush your teeth because it's just part of who you are. The secret to discipline is making your desired habits part of your non-negotiable self-image. The resolution starts with the 2-minute rule. Whatever habit you are trying to build, scale it down to something that takes less than 2 minutes. Want to read? Read 1 page. Want to exercise? Put on your gym shoes. By making the entry point incredibly easy, you bypass the brain's alarm system. You are essentially tricking your limbic system into staying calm while you build momentum. Once you start, the hardest part is over. Discipline is not about the 5-mile run. It's about the discipline of putting on your shoes every single day without fail. Consistency is the currency of growth. It is better to do 5 minutes of work every day than 5 hours once a week. You need to track your small wins to give your brain the dopamine hit it craves from a productive source. Use a habit tracker or a simple calendar to mark your progress. Seeing a streak of successful days creates a visual representation of your new identity. This creates a positive feedback loop where the act of being disciplined becomes its own reward. Slowly, the messy apartment of your life begins to find its order,
one small habit at a time.
Remember, the journey of discipline is not about perfection. It's about direction. You will have days where you stumble, and that's okay. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how quickly they get back on track. Be kind to yourself, but stay firm in your systems. The real reason you couldn't stay disciplined before was because you were trying to change your life overnight. Real change is a slow burn, a series of small, intentional choices that eventually lead to a completely different destination. You have the power to redesign your world. If you found this helpful, it's time to take the first step. Pick one tiny habit and start today, just for 2 minutes. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, and subscribe to join our community of growth-minded individuals. Comment below and tell me, what is one small habit you are going to start tomorrow? Let's hold each other accountable and build the life we've always imagined. Your future self is waiting for you to take action. See you in the next video.